I'm in the middle of creating an app that hopefully will work in tandem with the Upland racing game. It's not meant to create races in Upland, it's meant to show other people that you have created a race and allow them to join. Part of the problem with the Upland racing app at the moment, or the Upland game at the moment for racing, is that when you want to join a race that someone else has created, you can see the track that they're using and the amount that the entry fee is, but you have no idea what type of vehicle they're using or what any other player will be using. So you may end up joining with a car that's very underpowered. And if the race costs you, let's say, 10,000 UPX to enter, you're basically just throwing your money away. You have no idea of what you're up against before you join the race. This app that I've made is I'm hoping it's going to help alleviate that problem. So basically, this is what it looks like at the beginning if you haven't signed in or created an account. You basically just have the welcome screen and then these 3 tabs that I'll show you what those are later on. Once you have, if you want to create an account, you can use the sign up or sign in buttons on the hamburger menu. Basically, the sign up will just ask you for an email address. It doesn't have to be the same email address that you're using in Upland. It just has to be an email address that's yours, so it can send you a PIN number to verify that you are the user that is using the app. Once you have created the account, you will be asked to enter your Upland username. And the reason for that is that when you create a race, the people who are going to join your race will want to know that you are the person that you say you are. If you create a race as, let's say for myself, if I create a race as Cape Madman in my app, and then I go to Upland and I create a race as Cape Madman in the Upland app, the two are the same, and people will understand that it's me that created the race. If I create an account in my app that has a different username, when I create a race in Upland, the names will be different. And in that case, people won't know if they can trust you or not. So this is basically, my entire app is based on trust. There is no way to prevent people from doing the wrong thing. That's just, I'm hoping that everybody will do the right thing, because that's the problem with the Upland racing thing at the moment, is that you cannot trust the lobby that you go into to be the type of car that you want it to be. And I'll explain a little bit more about that later. But for now, I'm just going to show you how the app looks and then how I think it should work. So I am now going to log in. And this is the home screen that you'll see once you do log in. Right now, I've basically set it up just for the new event that's going on. The Snowdrift Showdown. So if you were to go to the league page, it'll show you a little bit about that. I've basically just copied what's on the Upland page, and then this links you to the Upland page. And obviously Upland and Upland Racing League are getting together, blah, blah, blah. The events page is pretty much just a link to these other tabs down the bottom. At the moment, that's what it is, but in the future it will be something different. I'm just doing this, like I said, for the Snowdrift Showdown. I kind of did it in a rush, so it works, but it's not how I intend the app to be used in the long run. So anyways, if you wanted to, let's say you have a truck, a Series T, and you're going to be racing according to the rules. You will be racing at the Midtown Terrace 100. So you would click on the Midtown Terrace 100. It'll show you what the track looks like. It says Series T vehicles only. And then I've included a little bit of an information about how to use the app. Once you familiarize yourself, you won't need to read this, but it might help at the beginning. Each one of these tabs is its own track. So if you create a race for the Boys Town Extreme track, it will show up in here. If you create a race for the Midtown Terrace, it'll show up in here. If you create a race for the Ithaca Run, it'll show up in here. And each track in the showdown, the Snowdrift Showdown, is designed, or it's going to be only for one type of vehicle. So obviously if you have a semi and you want to join the racing event, you will need to practice racing your S-Class truck in the Boys Town Extreme track. So one way I was thinking of doing this with other people who have the same vehicle is to create this app and have private races shown that you would be able to join. So here's how it will work. You will basically start in Upland. You will go to the racing app, and I have a Series T vehicle, so this is what I'm going to use. I will create a race, and like I said, the race for the trucks, the Series T vehicles, is the Midtown Terrace 100. So I'm going to create a track. I'm going to make a private server so that only the people I invite can race. So we won't get anybody hopefully showing up with an S1R or any other type of vehicle. It really wouldn't matter if they did, but the idea about this is to have everybody show up with the same vehicle. So no carts, and I'm going to allow AI opponents just in case no one else shows up. So the entry fee I'm going to make 0. It can be like as much as 100,000 UPX, but for this purpose I'm just showing 0. I'm going to use my Series T vehicle, and I'm going to choose, it doesn't matter which block explorer you use. Now you will need the private code. You can either copy it here or you can copy it on the next page in the lobby. I'm going to copy it here just for the fun of it. Okay, so the you can see the private code here is, memory might not be that good, but it's the same as it was on the last one. We're also waiting for players. The timer hasn't started because I'm the only one in the lobby. I can sit here as the only person in the lobby forever, and the timer will not start. And if I push the start race button, obviously the race will start, but the timer for the lobby has not started. As soon as another racer joins the lobby, that's when the timer starts. Okay, so you've created a race and you've got your private code, and you've said what the entry fee is going to be. In my case, it's 0. So I'm going to go back to the app, and I am in the Series T races, Midtown Terrace, and I'm going to create a race in my app. This again is not linked to the Upland game at all. It's a separate thing altogether. So what I'm going to do is create a race, and I'm going to tell people that the entry fee is 0 and the private code is that, which is, as you can see, the same as this number up here. This number up here. So if I was creating a test race just to show you how the app was working, and I wasn't going to be creating a real race in Upland, I would select the fake race checkbox, and then and I'll show you how that works later. But basically, the race will show up as a fake race. Well, actually, I'll do that now anyways. I'll show it as a fake race even though it's a real race. So I push submit, and now you can see that it says this is not a real race. And in 1 minute, in 1 minute it will disappear. That's because I don't want the fake races hanging around for too long. I'm going to create another race, which is going to be the same thing exactly, but not a fake race. So now there are 2 races showing in races in progress. One is the fake race and one is the real race. If I am the user that has created these races, I will have the ability to either edit them or delete them. If I accidentally enter the wrong information, like I look at the code and go, oh, I put a 7 instead of a 6, I can easily change that just by editing it. If I decide that I don't want the race to run at all, let's say it's been sitting there for half an hour and nobody's showing up, I can delete it. As you can see, the fake race just disappeared. So I'm going to, you can see that this race is showing that it was created 1 minute ago. If you edit the race, I'm going to change the fee to 10 UPX, and then resubmit it. You can see that it has reset the timer as well. So if you are in your lobby and no one is showing up after, let's say, 10 minutes, you can go back to my app and then reset it and hope that in another 10 minutes someone else will show up, or someone will show up. Let's just do this. Okay, so if I were to delete this race, obviously it would just disappear. It's not going to disappear in Upland. It'll just disappear in my app. Like I said, the 2 races aren't connected in any way, software-wise or physically or anything like that. You're creating a second, or basically a billboard that shows that you are having a race in Upland. So anyways, right now I'm going to re-edit this so that the fee is 0 and submit. And now I would go back to Upland and wait for people to show up to use my race. And once the second person shows up, the counter starts running. I'm not positive, but I think you get 8 minutes from the time the second person shows up. Once all players are there, once you get 6 players in the lobby, I think it starts the race automatically. If you end up with 5 players after the 8 minutes, it'll start automatically. Like the actual time counts down. No matter how many people are in the lobby, it will start. At any point, as the owner of the race, I can push start and start the race. So if a second player comes in and we go through 6 minutes and I decide, well, I'm not waiting any longer, I can start the race and cancel the last 2 minutes. We will end up with enough racers, like there'll be enough AI players to actually have a qualifying lap that's legal, because they say you need at least 4 people in the race to have a qualifying lap that is legal or that is allowed. So it's best to set up your races with AI just so that you know that you're not wasting your time, essentially. So I'm going to cancel this because I don't actually want to race at the moment. So if I were the person who was viewing my app, let's say I am not the person who created it, I'm another person altogether, I will show myself as a different person. So now I cannot delete or edit this, but I can look at the details for it. And what I could do is say, oh, I'd like to join this race, and I could copy by clicking here that number and then go back to start my, or to join that race. So I would look for the app. I would come here, click on racing, enter the code. And then because I'm the one who created the race, Upland's gonna tell me that I'm already in the race. But if I wasn't, I would join as a second person. But anyways, this is it telling me I'm already in the lobby. And I will join my race, which I am already in. But if I was a second player, it will actually show me as the second player, and I would now have a clock counting down. So anyways, that's pretty much how I expect it to be used. It's, like I said, it's ready to go for the for this Snowdrift Showdown. Right now it could be used if anybody is interested. Obviously there's going to be a few bugs, people not really understanding how it works. Like I said, the thing you have to remember is that it's all on trust. Creating a race in Upland doesn't create one in my app, and creating a race in my app does not create one in Upland. So the two, you could put in completely wrong information in my app and people would never find your race in Upland. If you don't get the code right, it's going to be wrong. If you say that you're going to be racing a Series T vehicle, and you decide when you create the race to join with an S1R, and you've charged everybody 10,000 UPX to get in, they're going to be angry with you, and you're not going to be, regarded as a fair player, and you may end up with a lot of people, flaming you on whatever site you go to. So try to stick with the vehicle you're supposed to be in the track, on the track you're supposed to be in. If you choose the Boys Town Extreme track, use a Series S vehicle. If you choose the Series T, the Midtown Terrace 100, use the Series T vehicle. If you're going to run the Ithaca run, use the Series V passenger vehicle. Those are the vehicles, or the cars, or the trucks, or whatever you want to call them, that Upland and the Upland Racing League have determined are the vehicles that they will allow to race in their races. Obviously, if you're practicing with the wrong vehicle, you're not practicing at all. So hopefully that is easy enough to understand. The only two things I'm going to say that I found a little bit funny was that I'm not sure if Ithaca is spelt with an A or an I. In the instructions that, or in the posting that Upland made, they spell it with an I. But in the, if you go to the track, and you actually have to select the Ithaca. It's not just Ithaca. It's with an A here, but an I in the instructions on how to race. So I don't know which it is. So if I'm spelling it wrong in my app, I'm sorry. That's the way it is here, and that's how I have to get it. So the other thing was, what was the other thing? Oh, I remember. The other thing I was going to say is that if you go into the series, whatever tab you want to go into, and then I'm going to create a race, just anything, doesn't matter. It's a fake race. And if I were to actually click into this, and then I leave this series race and go into the next one and create a race here, if I go back to this one, it doesn't reset the screen back to the original. You have to click on it again. That's a feature of my app. It's not something I can change. The guys who created the program that I'm using don't allow you to reset back to the home screen. You go back to whatever you were doing before. So another thing I was going to say is that each race will disappear after 12 minutes. A race normally lasts between 2.5 and 4 minutes long, depending upon the track and the vehicle you're using. And the lobby, let's say it's 8 minutes from the time you create the race to the time that the race starts. Let's say as soon as you create the race, somebody joins. So that's 8 minutes plus 4 minutes. That's roughly 12 minutes. So I was thinking that after 12 minutes, I should have this disappear, because in reality, if the lobby is busy, like if a lot of people are racing, you don't want this showing up for longer than the race is around. If people are constantly copying the codes and going to Upland and finding that the race is already in progress, that's not a very good thing. So if you see that the race has been, like if there's a list of like 7 races here, and the longest one has been sitting there for 9 minutes, it's likely that it's either already in progress or it's completed. Don't bother with the races that have been there a long time. You can have a look if you want, but you may find that you're just wasting your time. Go for the ones that are under 7 minutes. But again, it'll automatically delete after 12 minutes. You could, if this was my race, I could actually go in and, like I said, I could edit it and have it reset the counter. So if I still haven't started the race after 10 minutes, I might come back to my app and go, I'll wait a little longer. So I just basically go in, make an edit of some sort, and then it'll reset the counter. So again, it's a gentleman's thing. If you decide to cheat, that's up to you. But people are going to be unhappy that they're losing money to you, if you're using the wrong vehicle. And again, hopefully this is useful. And thanks for paying attention.